Welcome to the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. I am just here to be inspirational for a little bit, here to talk to a few different people and have some good conversations about things happening in the culture, things happening in the world. I'm just here to, just have some fun and see which direction it goes. I'm in here with my man. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows about our relationship. Everybody knows about all that stuff. But, we ain't talked in a long time, had a good conversation in quite a while. So I'm here with my man in your face. Everybody give it up for my man in your face right now. I like my claps, man. I like my claps.
Yeah, they are very well cued too. What's up, man?
What's up, bro? How you been, man?
Man, where I start? I'm good though. I'm really good.
That's what's up.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. Man, where did we start? Where have you been? It's been shoot. I don't know. When is the last time we even really sat? I know we ain't sat down in probably 15 years. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And just rapped a little bit about life and your life, your hopes, your ambitions, your dreams, all the things that make you so special.
Man. We special like short bus special. Or no offense to anyone out there. I'm trying to be politically correct these days.
Oh Lord. Well, where you been, man? What you been in?
Man, the last 15 years, man, I've been working in the nonprofit sector, from the House DC, which is in Anacostia, in Southeast DC, Washington, DC. And the last 11 years, I've been trying to stay afloat doing this organization called Young Life. And so that's been between Prince George's County and Southeast DC. Right. So, man, I've been doing that. People think I haven't been doing music because I haven't dropped any in-your-face stuff. But I've been in the industry a lot, man. I've been doing a lot of writing, Gospel artists, man. I've been behind the scenes. So DJ for a couple of artists. Got to hit a couple promotional tours with them. That was fun. Got to just learn a little bit about the business from the front end, but from the behind the scenes aspect of it.
Right. From the writing end.
From the writing end, yes.
Yeah.
So that's been dope. I mean, you don't really see a lot of fruit off of that, but but it's a lot. It's just a fun environment. Great people you get to network with, and just build some strong relationships. So
that's what's up.
And making babies, man.
Oh,
that's what I've been doing.
Oh,
making babies.
How's your wife, man?
Man, she doing all right, man. She's excelling in her career, man. So I've been trying to be supportive of that, and just trying to take care of home, man. I'm like man. You know what I did today?
What's that?
It's Christmas Eve. You know that, right?
I noticed.
Hey, man, you wanna know how I know I'm getting old and domesticated?
What's that?
I was at Ross this morning at 10 a.m. shopping for some doggone curtains.
Yeah.
And guess whose idea it was?
Probably yours.
This guy. It was my idea. And I enjoyed it, man.
Hey, man,
it was
I bet
great.
you did. Man, I did what I shouldn't have done. I did what young people do. I went to Walmart on.
Oh man.
Yeah, I did what young people. What young people generally make the type of mistake on Christmas Eve, like go into a Walmart.
Yes.
And it wasn't even a Walmart that was that bad, yo. It was the parking lot.
Yes, I was about to say you probably parked in the parking lot across the street.
Yeah, it was like you park, but then you try to leave, and when you try to leave, it's just not possible. Yeah,
it's
Walmart sucks.
Rush hour.
Yeah, and it take you 30, 45 minutes to get out of the parking lot when you're leaving. It took you 15 minutes in the store, but 35 minutes to get out of the parking lot.
Goodness gracious.
Amazon
Prime is your friend, man.
Yeah. See, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
They doing real good. but you still need like 2 days.
Yes.
A day. A lot of things come sometimes they come the same day.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come the next day, but you really need 2 days.
December 22nd, man. Just
That
order
was
everything on December 22nd. It'll be there by December 24th.
man. Tell me about like. So let's start here. I wanna start here. I wanna start from the In Your Face from the beginning.
Oh man.
I want to start from the beginning. Like, I want to start from the beginning.
The beginning of In Your Face.
The beginning of Christopher In Your Face. Where did you? Tell me about your childhood leading up to when you started rapping. Like so tell me about like where you come from. What's your inspiration? I mean, a lot of the stories I probably know, but I want the story that I've never heard before.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Man. So I was born in DC.
Right.
Raised in Prince George's County, and so my kids that I work with, man, they would say, "Well, you're a Washingtonian, but you a Maryland Bama."
Okay, that's how they referred to me when I was at school.
Yeah. You that Maryland Bama. You were born here, but you a PG County kid. You Maryland Bama.
Yeah.
So so I was a Maryland Bama.
Right.
But we went to DC schools in elementary, and so my mother would get us up at like 5 a.m, take us all the way in to my grandmother's house, who lived in Southeast, and I come from a huge family, so all my cousins are all older than me, and everybody loved music.
Right.
So you gonna laugh at this. My older cousin Danielle and Bernita, when I was a kid, they used to love New Edition.
Right.
So I would be in my grandmother's house with all my cousins, listening to New Edition,
right,
and wanting to be Ralph Tresvant. I wanted to be Ralph Tresvant. I would sing high.
You could have been any of them, but you
I wanted to be Ralph
Tresvant. You could have been any of them.
I know. I could have been Bobby. I could have been.
You could have been the star. You wanted to be Ralph Tresvant.
Ralph Tresvant.
It's indicative of the In Your Face. I know.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Well, I wanted to be Ralph, and so I would just try to sing, and so a kid. Like I said, my mother's side of the family, we are very, very big, very close. And so my cousins and my aunt, I was getting into some trouble and irritating all my cousins. My aunt made me go and join our family church's kids choir. And so back then,
yes,
I had to be like 7 or 8.
Right.
And back then, my family was Catholic. Okay. And so back then we went to Holy Comforter St. Cyprian, which is on East Capitol Street.
We did that church before.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
It was the big ceilings and the sound was bad.
Yes, because of the acoustics.
Yeah.
It's a big cathedral. Yes. So that was my childhood church. It was a Catholic church, and I got to sing because my cousins kept telling my aunt that I sing like Ralph Tresvant. I got to sing like Ralph Tresvant. Wow. So I got to sing this song. Wow. It was the first gospel song that I ever learned. And it was Just For Me. You know the words, just for me, just for me. They pierced him in the side. He hung his head and died. He did all that. Just for me. You may not know this, right? I don't know. Nah, but it was that, and then I love you. Stuff. I love you, Lord, today. I know you know that, right? Yeah, so I got to sing the lead for Just For Me. And my mother, she grew up Catholic, but she wasn't like following the Lord or whatever.
Okay.
So she came to church to hear me sing. And from there, we stopped going to church. And I always laugh, and I was like, dang, I sang so bad. My mother decided she ain't want to go to church no more. But
so that's exactly why. I bet that's exactly why. I'm not even going no more because that was just terrible.
Yeah, that was just horrible.
That's like something I say to my kids. Yeah, so the fact that you even sang.
Yeah.
Bro. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, what happened was my mother decided off of that Sunday that she wanted to begin to pursue her relationship with the Lord.
Okay.
But she didn't want to do it in the Catholic church.
Okay.
So some lady that she knows was a minister at a apostolic church.
Oh, fun.
Bruh.
That's like going from
No disrespect to apostolic members.
it's just opposite of Catholic.
Yeah.
So it's like going from one extreme to the complete
Yes.
opposite.
Yeah, because the Catholic church we grew up in, it was cool. They had like crab feasts and stuff like that. People was drinking beer and stuff. You could listen to music, but you do the stuff that good Catholics did. You know what I'm saying?
Apostolic, you don't have to wear a suit.
You gotta wear a suit.
You gonna have to wear a tie.
Women can't wear pants.
They gotta match.
Yep.
The suit and the tie gotta match. And you gotta know how to dance. If you don't know how to dance, you're gonna have to learn quick in the apostolic church.
Oh man, and it's not just the regular dance; it's the shout.
You gotta dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In hard shoes.
I wasn't blessed with that. Yeah, I couldn't be an apostolic because I wasn't blessed with the dancing gene. Not even. I got a whole sister that owned a whole dance studio, and
it skipped over you.
I skipped right over. And I attended the apostolic church for a long time. They danced, and I kind of figured out now.
Yes. But you can
not look crazy.
I know we talking about me, but the viewers may not know. You may not dance, but you can drum. You were a drummer.
Yeah, it's not that
and
I
you
don't,
were vicious.
It's not that I don't have rhythm.
Yeah.
It's that I don't have steps.
Yeah. But you would have survived in the apostolic church because you ain't had to dance. You would have been on the set.
Oh, okay.
See?
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, man, you got to make stuff work.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me put an end to this long story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, long story short, so we end up going to an apostolic church, and I hated every minute of it.
Okay.
Because not only did my mother go head first into it, my father, who grew up Presbyterian but didn't go to church, my grandmother never made him go to church.
Right.
He ended up deciding to follow the Lord there too, and so both my parents decided to go in the apostolic church, which meant we couldn't watch certain cartoons anymore. All the toys we had, they made us get rid of. So we had Care Bears, we had G.I. Joes, we had He-Man, we had Star Wars. They made us throw all of that stuff away. When I was a kid, I didn't attend the apostolic church. My parents made me do the same thing with the Smurfs, they were part of it too.
Like the Smurfs was demonic or something.
Yes.
Like I went to a non-denominational church from birth, but you could not. It was
witchcraft.
Yeah.
Anything with witchcraft or sorcery. And then they read some sheet of paper that went around in the church with Procter and Gamble was the devil or something. We couldn't use certain products.
Hey, hold up. Hey, no, hold up. Let me tell you something. There was some sheet of paper going around, right? And let me tell you how it was like without social media for all the millennials that may be listening that may be used to it.
Yeah.
Before social media came around, okay, a rumor was the truth.
Yes.
Yep. And so we read this. I don't know how it got around that Procter and Gamble worshiped the devil. And they paid tithes to the Church of Satan.
Yep.
And it was on Oprah, right?
It was on Oprah. I never knew that.
That was the word. And so,
oh my God.
And so I got to be an adult, and that popped into my mind one day as an adult, probably like 5 years ago. It popped into my mind like, because my sister was so into it. She was like, we can't buy no, and she was probably 6. But she was like, we can't buy any Procter and Gamble. I think my parents picked up some Colgate, and she was like, is that Procter and Gamble? Because you're supporting the devil, right? Okay, and so
because I know your sister, I can see that and believe
6 years old, that's how she was.
That's funny.
Okay, so about 5 years ago, I looked it up, right? And I was like, I wonder if they still promote that they support the House of Satan. I looked it up, it was an untrue, the whole thing. They were never on Oprah. It was never a thing. They came out several times to say they weren't, but we didn't have the luxury of social media back then.
Yeah.
Therefore, everything was the truth. If we heard it, it was the truth. That it had to be the truth. And we didn't know nobody to what you call it when when they fact check it, nobody to fact check. Sorry. I just got
fact
all the way
checking. No, but I mean that's real.
all the way off.
Because you asked, explain how In Your Face came about. That's part of the story. Because I grew up loving church at the Catholic church because all my cousins were there.
Right.
I had family there, and then I was stripped away from that and introduced to the Apostolic Church, and I felt like everything was ripped from me.
Right.
You know, all the stuff that I was into, I couldn't do anymore. Then my father was the one who he went head first into it too, and accelerated. It's like accelerating excellently.
Right.
So he is accelerated anyway, and decided that this church was not the one for him, and end up moving our family. The church plays a big part in this. That's why I started with the church aspect.
Okay.
The church. So we left that church and went to the Church of God, and so we went to.
So you went to National Church of God.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So we went from Holy Comforter, the Catholic Church, to Apostolic Church, to the Church of God.
Okay.
And so they got involved in youth ministry there.
That's more
worship, more non-denominational.
Right. Okay.
But it's Church of God because it's denominational. More Assemblies of God, I guess, kind of. So that's why I got introduced to like Miles Monroe and stuff like that, laying on the hands, and which we had at the Apostolic Church too. But there, I gravitated to it a little more. It made a little more sense, but no sense at the same time.
Right.
Anyway, but I don't know what happened there, but we were there for some time, and that's where I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel this God thing.
Right.
And I was probably like 10 or 11.
Right.
At the same time, 10 or 11, that's the 90s, 91, 92, you know. We had video jukebox back then. Remember that? We had jukebox back then, man.
Yes, I do remember video jukebox.
Oh, man.
I do remember that.
And so I got to throw the music in there. So I'll be over my grandmother's house. And so at National Church of God, my mother got a job. So she pulled me out of DC schools.
Okay.
And we went to National Christian Academy.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. That joint was a struggle for me at National Christian Academy. But shout out to anybody that's from National Christian Academy that's watching right now, because the Eagles, that's what we were. We took a lot of pride in that. But I got in trouble every day at National Christian Academy. But video jukebox was when I would come home from school, I would still go over to my grandmother's house.
Right.
And my cousins, we would watch video jukebox. And man, after I did my homework, it's the only thing I watched for the rest of the night until my mother picked me up. Man, Tribe Called Quest.
Right. Wow.
Public Enemy at the time with Flavor Flav. Even though I wasn't a big Public Enemy fan, it was the energy that they brought. Right. So I fell in love with the energy, and I wanted some of that. Tribe just came with the crazy kind of like flow and flavor, and that's when I really switched from wanting to be like Ralph Tresvant to wanting to be
hip hop.
Bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we left and ended up at Evangel, and I ain't know anybody at Evangel.
What year was that?
Oh, 1992. It was right after Evangel moved to Upper Marlboro.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And so, and I got into gospel more, so like commission. And so my parents, they were real hard. They wouldn't let me listen to any secular music, period.
Listen, I tell people my story all the time. I'm like, listen, my parents did not allow secular music. Like, they did not allow it. See, and a lot of people like will have this whole story of how they used to rap for the world, now they rap for the Lord, and I just don't have that story. Mm-hmm. I grew up. I'm like the only person.
Yes.
I'm really the only person I feel like I know that really grew up on Christian rap. No. Because my parents used to take us to Jesus Bookstore. And it would take me to Jesus. Oh, you like rap, do you? She'd take me to Jesus Bookstore and be like, he like rap. Y'all got some rap here? And so because they used to do that, and they would have like 2 albums, maybe 3, be PID, SFC, Stephen Wiley. Yes. It used to be all of those, it's like really the only Christian rap that was offered. That was my life, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Hey, but I'm telling you, Sean, we connect on that because even though video jukebox happened in my grandmother's house, not in my parents' house.
See, I was a technologist.
Yeah.
So I used to know how to get around the cable box.
Yeah.
And so my parents used to, I used to be able to, all right, we can put this right here and this right. This is back in the day when cable was analog, so you can go outside to the box and just
Oh man, we old, man.
you go outside to the box and just plug him in real quick.
That's funny.
And then just, yeah, you remember
That
remember the
is
box that
funny.
used to be on the ground? You used to go on the box,
Yeah.
you used to try to find your house and then plug him in real quick and then plug your house in and take it out before your parents got there so they wouldn't know that you had cable. So we got that.
Oh.
We got that. We was able to get that.
Your parents know all your secrets now. You done exposed yourself.
That's okay. I'm 40.
Yeah, what they gonna do? Punish?
Can't beat me now. I got a whole grandbaby.
Oh man, yo. But you know what? And congratulations to you for that too, man. It's a beautiful grandbaby. I like to call her my god grandbaby.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, man. You said it. DC Talk for me. What is it? Soldiers for Christ. Is that? That's SFC.
Yep.
Gospel Gangsters.
Gospel Gangsters. That's
Mike
a little bit
E.
later for me.
Oh man. Yup. And yeah, that's for me. That was it. And so, but anyway, I ended up coming to Evangel, and that's where I got to meet you.
Right.
At that time, man, it was all, it was a real dark period of my life for me. I ain't know anybody, ain't had no real connections with people I didn't understand. My parents were fighting.
Right.
Bruh, and I feel confident because this is my mother's testimony, but a lot of people don't know, man. I grew up and I saw my parents at a real low point. I seen my mother go through a stage where, she was suicidal. And, just being the oldest at that time, it was just my sister and I. But being the oldest and seeing my parents go through all that,
wow.
Man, it just made me wonder, like, what are we going to church? What are we trusting God for?
Right.
If our life is like this.
Right.
And, in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, man, the kids that I'm working with now, their situations are way worse than anything I went through.
Right.
So really, I'm growing up. I'm looking at how I grew up, and I'm like, dog, I'm blessed.
Right.
I can't complain about anything. I was blessed.
That's interesting. Like, when I was in school, I couldn't understand. It was one of my friends, Donald.
Yeah.
That, we always had a really open household, right? It was always like, my parents were like, you can't handle friends unless they our friends. If they ain't our friends, they ain't your friends, which means we need to meet everybody. And so, like, that's the kind of household we had or whatever. And all my friends used to always come over, and I realized that all my friends from school and all of that stuff, they, Donald used to come and be like, so your parents, they both live here? And I'm like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, like, together? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I realized that in my neighborhood, or in my surroundings or whatever, the two parents and still being married and living together, and I lived in the Cosby household.
Yeah.
To the people that I grew up around, it was like, so both of them live here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that's real, man. That's real, bro. So like you were saying with Donald, man, you have friends who are like that, who you make you look at your situation and just be grateful,
right?
And so I had friends like that, and I was grateful to be able to meet people who saw something in me, such as yourself,
right.
Who was like, yo, let's record, let's do stuff.
Let's do this.
Yeah. And so, the road to In Your Face in the front half, that really took off there. Like, I've done some talent shows and stuff like that. My homeboy Treasure and I, he was one of the first people I met at Evangel when I ended up going to the church when I was there. And we would freestyle every Sunday. So we would be in this classroom, the youth ministry classroom,
right,
before the teaching would start, and then after the teaching would start, we would just be freestyling. And that's what made me love to go there, and it sparked my interest. And then out of that, we had opportunities. We had a youth pastor who gave us platforms.
Right.
And we had opportunities to do stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, my story is basically of people just giving me a shot.
Right.
People just, you know, wanting to embrace me and bring me around and say, and yo, try this or do this or come hang with us.
Right.
So yeah, man, I'm grateful for you, Shawn, because man, I don't know if I would even be in your face. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't meet you, I'd just be a black dude rapping somewhere, trying to get a regular job or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, you know, the crazy thing about you, you know, I'm gonna say this online. I've told you this in private. But the crazy thing about you, the only person I've ever met or ever worked with, I work with a ton of people that after a long time of you not releasing music, people are mad. they're like mad, like, you know, man, that dude just, you know, he never released it, blah blah blah, and it's like, yo, it's like that's, you know, that's that your connection with people has been so, you know, so oddly cool to watch. And I remember when we first did the record, your first album, when we first did the learning process, and I know I was really like, because I grew up in Christian hip hop, you know, because my goal was for it to be creative, and not just Jesus, 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 Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love saying Jesus, but can we make something that doesn't sound like something else? And so when we designed that album and made that album, was like, okay, I want to make something that doesn't sound like something else. We went for this big, you know, this big orchestra sounding record, which at the time, especially in Christian hip hop, but not even in regular hip hop, had anybody ever done that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it was like, it came out so dope, but then I gave it to you. And I think I didn't quite understand how good you were until I gave you that stuff, and then you flew to Florida. Yeah. And then we recorded that album, and I was like, oh, this joint. And I wasn't even there when y'all was recording. It was you and when y'all did Eradicate. I wasn't even there. I think it was in school. And I came back, and I was like, what? It was like, what? And it was like,
that's what was fun.
Yeah, it was like, yo, this is, you know. And then I remember going to the studio here, and you know, letting some people, like, I went to, because we was working out. I remember we was working out at Wire for Sound. Yep. And it was like some people doing sessions or whatever. None of them being gospel, being, you know, God or whatever. So I let them listen to that. They was like, well, you know, I would buy this right now. Where, you know, and it was like, yo, this is crazy.
Just to interject on that for a second, that whole situation was strange. The whole Wire for Sound, like, what? Because you were in high school when you were working with them, and like, I don't even know how you got connected with that. But like, I'm just looking back now. I'm like, bruh, I got to go to a studio from 11th grade, 12th grade, and I don't remember paying a dime. But
we didn't pay no dimes. Shucks. We paid in sweat equity. Paid in sweat equity. Like, that's
man. But shucks, man. I'm just thinking back, man. It was we worked a lot on that project, man. We was from Florida to like, even when you came back, man, it was nice. I remember sleeping on the floor in your, you know what I'm saying, in your parents' house. Right. Yeah, and you had the ASR. Man,
it was a lot of work.
Man, we put work in.
But it came out. It's still, it's a time, in my opinion, others may differ, but to me, it's a timeless record. You can listen to it today.
No, I don't listen to it much.
You can listen to it today. I listened to it a couple weeks ago. You can listen to it today and be like, yo, this is super dope.
You know, I let my son listen to it the other day. His favorite song is Hostile Takeover. And that is my least favorite song. It's my favorite track, one of my favorite tracks, but
I think Hostile Takeover sounds probably the closest to today music.
Bruh, but I will rewrite how I rapped on there, because that's cadence on that joint is so dumb. I'm like, what in the world? I listen back to my stuff now, I'm like, yo, what was I thinking? I even stuff we haven't released.
I do the same thing. I listen back to the stuff. I listen to the stuff that I released in 99, 2000. That was me. I listen to stuff on your record. I skip those songs.
Really?
Oh my God. I'd be like, yo, I sound like, first of all, I sound like a girl.
Bruh.
Second of all, I sound like a 6-year-old girl. I just
Yo, you know what song I'm mad at you. This is one. Excuse me. One song I'm mad at you for. Every time I listen to it, I get angry. I'm like, what the heck was Shawn thinking? Why did you let me write that verse on "We Will Not Be Stopped"? It sounds like a cartoon character. We will not be stopped. And now the brother's preaching tonight. Whoa! I ended the verse like that. I'm like, what was I thinking? And why would you let me do that?
I don't even remember We Will Not Be Stopped.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't, because it's
don't even have a copy
it's a
of it.
horror story for me.
I don't even have.
Yeah.
I don't even have.
If you find one, burn it.
I don't even know that there's any way for me to ever find that.
Yeah,
song.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the future.
Yep.
Let's talk about the future. Where does In Your Face? Where do you go from here? Do you have a plan? Do you think you're too old?
Yo.
I mean, I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I struggle. The reason I'm asking you is because I struggle with the same thing, and that I was in church and the prophecy, the prophetic came forth, and from someone who doesn't, sometimes you get the prophetic at church, and it's someone who knows you and know your situation and know what you know. But when it comes from someone who doesn't know you, you know it's the Lord speaking. It comes from somebody who doesn't know you, and when they said, you're not too old, you're not, it's not time to try to do something else. The Lord's about to bring you back to where you once left off, thinking that you need to do something else in your life, and that just kind of smacked me in the face, like who am I to tell God I'm too old?
Yeah.
Like who am I to question the Father of time?
Yeah.
Like, who am I to tell the one who created time that I don't have time, or it's too late? When the Father of time created time to, I'm not on my time, and I'm not on the time that I'm on His time, and so.
I don't necessarily feel like age is the thing that's stopping me.
Right.
I feel like, excuse me. Yeah, I don't feel age is the thing that's stopping me. I think that it is a young man's game right now, but just with the style of hip hop.
Right, because we can't deal with it.
But even like I've tried to do this new wave that's out here, and I've written some stuff that I feel like, oh shoot, yeah, this will go on that. But I think the real thing that has held me up, to be honest with you, I thought about this, right? The real thing that's held me up from putting out music is the situation don't make sense to me.
What you mean?
Like I feel like this is what I know about myself. I am a writer. Like I can write, I can record, I can perform. When it comes to putting the finished product together, doing the promotion, getting the joint out there, all of that stuff, the machine, I don't know what I'm doing with that. So I feel like I could put together a project and the joint would sit there because I don't have the machine. Right. I feel like that's the thing. So because I know how much work it takes to put a project together, and I know how much sweat I will put into it to make sure lyrically it's good, this and that. Like I've grown since back in that day. Like my whole style is not necessarily the same as it used to be. I'm a little more serious now.
Right.
I like lyricism. I like doing with the young. I used to go on the kids, but I actually like some of this new wave that's out here, and I can do it. But the thing is, who will hear it if I can't get it out there? You know, so I can put it on a Tidal, I can put it on Spotify, I can put it on Apple Music. But what's going to drive people to actually go there? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. I don't see that, and I think that's what is separating me from other people who have that work ethic and that mindset to really hustle to get it out there. My hustle is more so, let me get these tracks. I got producers that'll make crazy tracks for me, and I got concepts. And I'm a killer on in my opinion, I'm a killer on the concepts, and I can write songs, and I can do hooks. I just can't do the business side of it and get the stuff out there. Which is why the last couple of years I've been writing for other people. It just hasn't been rappers. It's been singers. Because I could do the hooks, I could write, you know what I'm saying? And they'll do it, and they got the machine behind them.
But, you know, these days, you know, the business side of music is not really business at all. And it's not, you know, it's not like it used to be back in the day when we used to do stuff. We had to have a whole structure, whole infrastructure, a whole campaign, all of that stuff because it was very, very, very expensive then. Like, and even if you learn how to cut costs of production, it was very difficult. I mean, you can't cut costs of distribution.
Right.
So you had to order thousands of CDs.
Right.
And, you know, like...
Get them in the stores.
Yeah, you had to order thousands. And it's like, you know, and thousands was like $2 each. You was paying $2,000 per 1,000 CDs. And so, you know, distribution was such a big thing, you know, a big expense. And then production was a big expense. And then getting a record, you know, getting the record to the people, you know what I mean? Like, once you got this 1,000 CDs, 10 boxes of 100 just sitting in your living room, and you got to figure out how to get them joints out there to the world. Yeah. So it was like, back in the day, that was the central, that was, you know, why we had to have these huge plans of business and how we make it. These days, if you look at the structure of, you know, how we thought about it back in the day, well, distribution is absolutely free. It's not free, but it's absolutely nothing. It's
you
pennies.
Just get it out there. Yeah, it's $49.
Yeah, it's just pennies. You know, like, production is, you know, it's not free, but it's like for a couple $100 you can get a microphone, get an interface, get the studio, get headphones, and just, you know, for a couple $100 get that part popping. So you can get production, you know, your production costs, your studio costs, your man, you know, that type of stuff is you know, pretty. Then it comes artwork and all of that stuff. It's like, yo, it's iPhone apps that do artwork better than, you know, what we had, you know,
right
years ago.
Yeah.
And so we got all of this stuff, all this infrastructure in place, and then, okay, great. So now what? All right, well, we got to get it out to the people. Well, we didn't have social media in 2001. There was no social media. Right. There was nothing. It was nothing you could do in that manner in 2000, like in 2001. Like you can now. So at least the people that followed you back in the day can hear the new music, because that was your demand. So these days it's like, I would, you know, putting music out consistently, just doing that process, just being creative is actually, that's the, you know, that's the commodity. Like, you know, music is a commodity. It's like apples. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can, it's all about where you go to buy it. Other than that, it's just apples. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And so the more people who know about, like, the more people who, because your people are your, you know, that's how you market. You market because people get excited about you. That's it. I mean, like, that's literally the way Chance the Rapper is Chance the Rapper. He didn't have he had none of this. Right? All he did was keep putting out records. That's all he did. Like, he keep putting them out, People start following. They start expecting the record to come out. They start expecting the record to come out. Right? Okay, it take you a year of dropping a record every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So what? Like, that's the easy part. I mean, not the easy part, but that's the part you're good at. You know, take a year of dropping a record every 2 weeks and paying the $20 or whatever to get it distributed. Okay. That's the easy part.
All right, so you're saying, do what I'm good at.
Absolutely. And don't do anything that you're not good at.
Okay.
Like, do what you're good at really, really, really good. And then don't do anything that you're not good at. Know yourself enough to know what you're not good at, and don't even try.
So, but don't be concerned about whether, you know, the best route to make the record blow, just drop the record.
Forget that. Guess who decides what records blow today?
Who?
The people. Remember back in the day when we used to try to get on the radio, and because we did Christian hip hop, we really didn't have a radio station to go to, because
shout out to Marsha Sumner, by the way.
I love her, rest in peace, Marsha Sumner, because she was my savior in one sense or the other. No doubt. But then we used to have nothing, right? So is either we tried to get on gospel stations, which the problem with trying to get on gospel stations is that we weren't really gospel, we was rap. So even though it was gospel rap, it was still rap, and they was playing, John P. Key and Show Up, and they was playing, Kurt Franklin and Donnie McClurkin, and they was playing all of this stuff. They weren't playing rap music though, right? And so it was very hard because it didn't fit their formula, right? Then we tried to get on, mainstream station because they play rap, but they ain't play gospel. And so it was like, we don't really play gospel here. So once again, the music didn't fit their formula. Right? Like their format, whatever. The music didn't fit their format. Right. So we just didn't fit nowhere where we were at. We just didn't fit. Right? And so the hardest thing was to try to sell steak to vegans. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got these steaks over here. They real good. They better than any, but we don't eat steak over here, bro. We vegans. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was our hardest. Like, that was the hardest thing for us to get us to get past. Like, how is it that how are we going to, push a record? Okay, these days I don't have to do that. I can drop a song every week. And you know what? People will listen to that song. Like your people that follow you or whatever, people listen to the song. So you don't really have that. Are you gonna make money from it like that? I say eventually, if you stop trying to make money from the music.
Yeah, see, and I think that's the thing. That's where it makes sense to me, man.
Stop trying.
I'm sorry, man. That's what it makes sense to me.
What's that?
Like if you put it, okay, so I understand that the ministry component of it.
Absolutely.
Right. Which is why, and let me clarify this, because I've had arguments with some of my brothers who have consistently put out gospel record or rap records with gospel content, right? Right. And they say, man, you know what I'm saying? We're not doing this for the money. We're not doing this, and I agree with you. And so you trying to spread the word. You try to spread the gospel. Well, I've been spreading the gospel. Absolutely. It just hasn't been through rap. Right. It's been through the pulpit. It's been through the streets. It's been through these nonprofits that I'm working with, building relationships. And so when I look at music, I look at it as an investment. So
absolutely, because we're not doing it for the money, but it does cost the money.
It costs money.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, and I got 2 kids and a mortgage now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man,
and car notes and insurance.
You put money and that's what I'm saying. It's got to make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to me because you put money out, you expect to get money back, or you just gonna be losing money. So from a business aspect, it doesn't make sense to me. If my whole drive is to share the gospel. So if I do music, well, I'm sharing the gospel already through these platforms that I have that, praise God, God doing in your face has awarded me the platform. Absolutely. But if I'm doing music right now, I'm just gonna do it for the love of doing music. Right. Because
well, I think so here we go.
Making the money don't make no sense.
Here we go. There are 2 fundamental ways to go about thinking about how we're doing this, right? Mm-hmm. First of all, the gospel in the music is in the production, right? So the gospel, so doing the, you can't, like I was saying to you offline, the only reason that anyone would ever do Christian rap, right? Because the only reason that I could ever fathom someone doing something like Christian rap is like, you must love the Lord. Yeah. Like you must have a passion for the Lord. Right. If you don't, you have picked a silly, you have really picked a silly genre to go into, right? So from a production point of view, while you in the studio, while you rapping, while you doing that stuff, you pour, every bit of Jesus got to come out of you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. That we do that part for every bit of Jesus coming out of us, right? All right. So now that we've done that part, right? We don't compromise, we don't sacrifice, we don't do none of that stuff in the music production itself. All right, boom. How we put that joint out there? All right. Okay. So putting it out there is completely different. It's a different mentality. Now it's business. It's not business when you're producing it, right? Because if you're producing it for business purposes, you're doing it for the money, right? And that's one, it's bad, and 2, I don't know how it could ever work, right? so I just don't know how that could ever work. You're doing it for the money when it comes to Christian rap. Who would do Christian rap for the money? Okay, sense. So And so now it's like, how do you produce that? How do you get it out? Well, the first I think you got to understand the way that the music business works now. It doesn't work per sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It works from more of a
Yep.
big picture point
Yep.
of view, right?
Yep.
So it's like it's sort of holistic. Like
Yep.
who sees you? It's attention.
Yep.
Who sees you? Who's going to listen to it? Who's going to invite you out? Who's going to actually do stuff for them? Who's going to? But in order to get to that point, you have to saturate the market with good music.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
you got to saturate the market with good
Yeah.
music, and that's where
Yeah.
and that part that part these days, man, it ain't really
Yeah.
the cost of what it used to be.
Hey, well, actually, too. Here's the other gripe. When we were younger and we were doing music, we had platforms. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we had opportunities to go and minister. I mean, we had Club for Jesus.
We did have Club for Jesus.
We had Club JCs.
We did have Club JCs.
We had youth conferences.
We had youth conferences.
We had youth nights with youth ministries.
We had a lot.
We had platforms. We had the Go-Go's. We got invited. The Complex. We got invited to all types of stuff.
The Complex. That's what it was, Kurt. It was the Complex.
Complex,
we
bro.
was on here trying to figure out what it was. It was the Complex.
Complex, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think that the atmosphere today makes me wonder, like, where are the platforms? Not just for rappers though.
Oh,
For
youth
teenagers,
ministry,
for
period.
youth.
Man, listen.
It's bigger than in your face.
Yo, listen. It's been so much. It's been so much. It was so pure. Then somewhere along the line, it became so opportunistic.
Yes.
To do stuff.
Yeah.
And because people start doing stuff for opportunistic purposes, it start becoming inauthentic.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Inauthentic.
Yeah. Okay.
Or not
I'm not a
authentic.
dictionary. It began to become inauthentic.
Right. Yes.
And so after, when people start saying, "Oh yeah, we can get this," and then it's like it's so crazy because there's such a fine line between how do we keep this open?
Yeah.
Right? How do we keep this open? Because to keep it open requires money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in order to push something that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
you can't exactly charge people a whole bunch of money.
You see what I'm saying?
And it was crazy because when you go to the club, right, they'll get you in. They'll say ladies free before 11, right? To push all the ladies and ladies getting free.
Yeah.
But what they're banking on is that the bar does well.
Yeah.
What they're banking on is that dudes want to get into the club because the ladies is already in there. So
Yeah.
dudes will pay $40, $50 to get into the club.
Yeah.
Here go the problem. With a Christian thing, that business model doesn't exactly work.
Right.
You can't take up an offering with a teenager.
Right.
They don't have no money.
Yep.
They don't. And so now, back in the day, in the 90s, we were getting underwritten by big ministries.
Yep.
But then the big ministries begin to realize that we were underwriting youth ministry, and that's really not making us no money.
So this is not so what you're saying. So what you're saying is exactly my point, right? This is not an in your face only problem. So like my thing is, if there were there's been Riff, you know this, bro. There's been times when people say, "Hey, we're doing this event. Hey, what's your fee?" And we would say a fee, and they would either pay it or they say, "Hey, we can't do that." Now think about the times where we say, "Oh, well, that's all right." We come in because we want to be able to reach the teenagers.
Absolutely.
Dog, it wasn't about, even today, it's not, if I have a EP, I got 6 songs on the EP, that's an extended, that's a super big EP, but you know what I'm saying, say I got 6 songs, you know what I'm saying, if I have a platform to actually do those songs and minister to teenagers, of course I would be doing. There's no platform, bro. Not that I see, and maybe it's just because I don't have no songs, I'm not getting invited to them. You know what I'm saying? But even as a youth minister,
It was hard.
no, I'm saying now as a youth minister, I don't even know which rappers in the area to invite. So I invite the same person all the time. I invite nonfiction out all the time because I love nonfiction.
You don't know
But
Duggar? You know Duggar?
I don't. Oh yeah, Ray Duggar. I know Ray Duggar. I gotta get his contact information. I don't know his contact. He's sick.
He's dope,
Yo,
man.
I love his stuff, bro.
Mick, that Baltimore and between Baltimore and DC.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore has a little bit more of a hip hop presence than DC.
And I gotta get in. But my point, just to finish my point.
But off to topic again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I think my point in it is that it does cost money, but I feel like churches aren't willing to pay the money for the groups because they've done that and they've been burnt by the groups in the past. So the investment they've put out is not bringing forth a return ministry-wise to their students. Well, you're paying $800 to get a band out, or you're paying $400 to get a rapper out, and they just want to push their product, or as a rapper, or they just want to crank as a band, but there's no fruit being deposited. You know what I'm saying? Bring a forth from their kids.
You know what's interesting?
Therefore, no platforms.
I'm gonna tell you something.
And that's not all bands. Let me clarify that.
This is my feeling. This is my feeling about music and about gospel. And I tell you this before about Christian rap, or go-go, whatever. Like you said, there's no platform. There's no infrastructure. Not only just no platform. There's no hardcore, no infrastructure, no radio stations. There are a couple of them in the Midwest, but they're like no real like infrastructure of radio stations, television networks. Like we don't have no BET, like or like gospel has a TBN or gospel has a whatever. There is not that in Christian in the Christian world. So that needs to be built.
Yeah.
Now, what is the greatest event you ever did? I'll tell you for me. Right. There were events that were underwritten. Right. Whenever we did colleges, freaking awesome. Right. Yeah. And we opened up for Toby Mac. Yeah. And we opened up for Pigeon John. And we opened up.
You did that.
It
was John Rubin. Now, was it John Rubin?
Oh, it was
Pigeon John. It was John Rubin.
Okay.
Down in Virginia Tech.
That was Virginia Tech. Yep. That was John Rubin. We did that. We did so things that were underwritten were always the best thing. The problem is it's not a lot of underwritten stuff. Yeah. Like a college is just has an entertainment budget. Right? Just, y'all, the Christian, okay, the noonday prayer, whatever, got a $2,000 budget to put together events. They can bring the sound and the artists and blah, blah, blah out because they got the money to do it. And these days, there's nobody underwriting the stuff. And then if there is somebody underwriting the stuff, there is no platform for people to know who out here even exists. Yeah. So platforms gotta be built. I think that's what I'm doing, like on my website. That's what I'm doing on our website. I'm building a platform so at shows like this.
I'm excited about that.
I got 2 shows that I'm working on, and then so on my podcast, shows, I've got music and all of that stuff. And eventually I'm going to extend it to having more than just myself on here. But and then turn it into an app, and then hopefully turn it into a whole network of stuff. But I understand where I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to push something that doesn't have we don't have a platform. Right. So it is what it is. So but that doesn't get away from you, right? Like what you should be doing, like putting that one album out once every couple of weeks, and one song out once every couple of weeks or once a month or whatever. So people are like anticipating the next song, like Jordan's. You don't need an infrastructure for that because you got social media. All you gotta do is keep on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. I don't know, YouTube.
TikTok will be the move.
Your TikTok's what your kids listen to.
Yeah.
But in 15 years, your kids gonna be you.
Yeah.
And they ain't gonna switch. Overwhelmingly, when you get attached to a social network, you don't switch.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody that was using Facebook 10 years ago still used Facebook. Everybody that used the Instagrams 10 years ago still used Instagram. The youngins started using Snapchat.
Right.
5, 6 years ago, whatever. They ain't switched from that.
Right.
My kids' generation, they didn't switch from that. So the youngins that are using TikTok now, 9 chances out of 10 in 10 years, in 12 years, in 13 years, they're not switching from TikTok. It's still gonna be a thing, if it's still a thing.
Yeah. You just gotta ride whatever's new, what's trending.
Yeah. Man, listen. I want to ask you one more question, and we gotta roll, because it is Christmas Eve, and there's dinners to attend.
Ah, yes.
There's food to eat, presents to open, presents to wrap, children to make happy.
Yeah.
There's one thing that's not happening tonight, and that's sleep. Tell me, if there was one thing, I'm gonna turn the music down for this. If there was one thing that we could change about society, culture, if there was one thing that you could change about the world, what would that be?
Jeez, that's one of those questions you gotta send me ahead of time. Hearts. If I could change one thing, I think I would change. Shucks, man. The prolific man of God in me wants to say hearts. Turn hearts back to the Lord, right? The other side of me, which would be the correct answer. You want to change hearts back to the Lord, and I think that'll solve all our problems. I think that the other side of me would be ownership of the Washington Redskins. That would solve all my problems. That would solve high blood pressure in the nation's capital. Oh man, that's. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
Ownership of the Redskins is a good answer, man.
Yeah, that is a great answer. It would solve so many problems. Oh man, I don't know, man. I would say if I could change anything, I would just wish we had more understanding of each other. Like we were slow to, quick to listen and slow to speak?
Yeah, slow to speak and quick to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we had that, man, because one of the things that social media, I know we got to go.
Oh, it's okay.
But one of the things that social media taught me, and you know this about me, I'm really kind of reserved, but what social media has done is given me freedom to speak stuff that I would not normally say out loud,
right?
But that's in my brain. And because I keep it in my brain, it's probably because it need to just stay in my brain. but it's made me loose. And what I've realized is I'm very combative on Facebook.
Right.
So I'll throw out a status and I want to stick. I'll say when I said what I said.
Right.
But then somebody will bring an opposing thought, and I want to fight against it. But what I realize is, no, fool. Listen to what they're saying. Examine it. And when I've done that, I feel like I've grown.
Yeah, it's so cool. So many people should listen to each other.
Yes.
And there was one thing I don't even want to talk about this. I hate talking about politics, but one thing when I read the Christianity Today article about the impeachment of Donald Trump, and I keep, I have all of these friends that are left, and I have friends that are right, and I one thing I believe in my life, that Christians or black people should not pledge allegiance to either side.
Right, I agree.
I think that you should find, because that's just the way you get played, right? I don't pledge allegiance to either side. I pledge allegiance to the person who I feel like, is following what my values.
Yeah.
But what I realize is that these both sides, they just don't listen to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is so frustrating. It's frustrating. You just don't want to watch it. You just don't want to be involved in the process. You just don't want to, I hate talking about politics, but it's like you look and you see, like, people just overwhelmingly don't listen to each other. And that's like, it's one of the most frustrating parts of the world.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's like we can't.
And I'm guilty myself,
Yeah, me too. I have to purposely do it. Sometimes, I'm so hardcore on what I believe or what my values are or what my principles are, even if they don't really work. Because sometimes we hold principles that don't even work. But we'll hold some principles and the principle doesn't even work. But we'll hold it so harshly and we won't even. And so we suffer in our own lives because we have a problem with listening. Like we have a problem with sitting down and just respecting that someone else may bring a thought to this that may help you in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Listen, this is the Elevation Podcast. Listen, I have one more thing I want to do. Everybody that comes on the Elevation Podcast, there is a part of this. There's a part of this where hopefully people will be looking forward to. We give gifts.
Oh,
we give gifts. And
Tis
since you
the
spoke of the
season.
Redskins,
you gonna give me a Redskins win?
no,
Oh, that'd be a heck of a gift.
I don't have that kind of money.
Okay.
But we got this sweet little restock clothing bag. But inside the bag, we got a Redskins colored.
Oh man, thank you, bro.
the Redskins colored.
Thank you very much.
Burgundy.
Man, this is nice too. Wow. Thank you, man. What size is it?
This is large.
I'm getting, I'm gaining weight. Thanks, I appreciate you, bro.
No problem,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man, for so much for coming and just a really natural conversation here. I didn't have to even push it.
Yeah, hey. Hey, man, what's that? 20-something years of friendship, man?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard.
It shouldn't be. You'd be surprised, though.
Yep.
Thank y'all for joining me. This is the Elevation Podcast here. I do it every Tuesday at 7:30. Every single Tuesday at 7:30, no matter if it's Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or the Eve of our Lord. It's going to happen every Tuesday at 7:30. Then after that, you guys can, download on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. And, just wherever you listen to podcasts at, it'll always be there to be played. And on my page, www.ShawnRiff-Raff.com, you'll see all of my podcasting, all of my, I blog a lot. There are a lot of thoughts there, a lot of things to read. There are a lot of things that the Holy Spirit, the Lord, just downloads, and I just write about it. Check it out. I have a new show starting this year called The Godpreneur. We'll talk about business and how to be run godly businesses. And so that's a new show that is coming out this year, a new podcast. So.
All right.
But anyway, ShawnRiff-Raff.com or every Tuesday, 7:30 right here on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, a simulcast on both of them. And we're out. Peace out.